Hi, everybody.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to TFT, Tarot for Today, Divine Dabblings with
Oberon.
me, Banshee. And
it's our monthly modality message.
And we are here to say Happy birthday, Sagittarians. Wow, it's almost as if we staged that, but we did not.
So the monthly modality messages are a very unique astrological spin with tarot, where we look at your modality and we throw the cards to see what are your best choices and efforts for this month.
So we talk about things like the modality superpowers and, how best you can utilize that in the month ahead. It's a nice pat little reading, and we're going to get the ball rolling.
Right, we're going to start off with our first modality, which are the cardinal signs.
Oh, the cardinal signs, right, which includes me.
And cardinals are Aries, Cancer, Libra, and Capricorn. They're mostly, as a cardinal, initiators. They get things started. They're the ones that start stuff. They're active and quick. They're ambitious, clever, etc. And that's why we're starting with them.
But as Mr. O knows, they can be a bit domineering at times.
No.
Little bit self-centered, We kind of forget about the needs of others because we focus on our stuff.
Yeah.
And as typical, especially with us Aries, we don't finish what we start. Can be maddening, can be. Especially when you're reading like 5 books at the same time. Exactly. But anyway, I digress. Let's roll. All right, Mr. O, why don't you shuffle for the Cardinals first this time? And of course, since we're doing this on the 22nd, it is Thanksgiving week. Happy Thanksgiving to those who celebrate. Enjoy your meal, your communal meal with family, friends, your tribe, or however you celebrate. One more shuffle.
All right, the cards are cut.
All right, so the first card number 1, is the primary focus for the cardinal signs for the month ahead. And lo and behold, it's the Chariot. The Chariot's upright.
Major Arcana 7.
There we go. So, wow, hey, cardinal signs, you are on the move. That's a major focus for this month. There is a lot going on. You're very motivated. You're very driven. And maybe, just maybe, you are focused on one particular area in your life, and you're bound and determined to see this through.
Well, whenever you think of a chariot, you usually think of something like Charlton Heston in the 10 Commandments or whatever it was, driving the chariot. And that means it's about a win. There's a goal here. There's a drive towards completion or the goal. And of course, sometimes the goal is just about uniting all the forces and powers you have. That's why there's often a depiction of a white horse and a black horse, corollary kind of ideas there. And so that's the focus this month for the cardinal signs, to be so focused and driven towards their goals.
I think I should put those on the bottom, 1 and 4.
Well,
all right.
Good luck.
So, card 2, the role with your interactions with others may play in the month ahead, cardinal signs. Well, it's the King of Wands, and the King of Wands is reversed. Oh my. Oh goodness. whatever will we do, cardinal signs? So you got all this drive, you've got all this motivation, and yet maybe somewhere deep down, well, this is with others. Maybe when you're dealing with others as far as your own goals or expressing yourself goes, in projects that you're involved with, if this is a project that involves others, you're really afraid to express yourself. You're really afraid to show them what you have, what you've got.
Well, it could also be, too, that your role with others may indicate that maybe other people don't feel really drawn to you. They don't feel magnetized or compelled to necessarily be involved in your plans. This doesn't mean that they don't like you, but, it is a busy time of year, Sagittarians, and so the idea could be that you're not coming off as charismatic as you want to, or as able to attract or retain these kind of things. So you may have to consider that a different approach is necessary. Maybe you're being too pushy, because
there is that
your driven
element.
nature, cardinals.
The other thing about this card is that, you're carrying this big stick, King of Wands, and, you want to whack people over the head with it to get them to do what you want them to do. An aggressive approach is probably not going to get you very far.
All right, so card 3.
So where do you want me to put those?
Well, those will go down in front then.
Okay, then that's fine.
Card
if that's
3, the opportunities or challenges you may face in the month ahead and how best you can tackle or achieve them.
Oh, can I take it down? The Ace of Cups.
I thought we interchanged on reading things and stuff, So anyways.
It's the Ace of Cups reversed.
Reversed.
Back on it. I do think this may be slightly better. It's still
so I think this kind of, that's fine.
Okay.
This kind of goes along with what we were saying, though, about the second card, in a way, the lack of enthusiasm or charisma you present here. And this may say that maybe you're not going to really be able to sell the idea of your projects, that people maybe are looking at some of this, or that your own opportunities or challenges sort of suggest you're not really feeling or being able to evoke that sense of pleasure or emotion somehow here.
Well, so let's look at this, cardinal signs. You're very, very motivated and driven. You have a lot of drive and energy, yet you're having problems expressing it in a constructive manner. It might come off as pushy, and you might not, maybe you feel that pushing the envelope, is covering the fact that you lack the confidence in yourself to carry this forward. And so therefore, I think the challenge is there's just, how to bring back joy in this project. Push, push, push. It just seems like you're very stressed. You're rather aggressive. You're driven. Maybe you've taken the joy out of things. And so the challenge is to bring that back so that people really want to engage with you.
So don't be a humbug, I guess, as we move into the holiday season. But it does seem like the challenge really is maybe finding a softer way or more emotive way of expressing yourself and or getting people to sign on to your projects or your goals in this time period.
And in that spirit, go ahead and pull the next card.
Why, thank you, but you're going to place it because you're sitting there. Okay, so card 4, our final card, is how can you use your modality superpower, your Wonder Twin power activate to best advantage this month. And yay, we got an upright card.
Yay! Well, thank you for that.
The 7 of
Well,
Wands.
that's very interesting. Again, this is a real powerhouse reading, I feel, and it's dependent upon how you use that power. So, the 7 of, well, first off, it's how can you use your superpower? Remember, you're the initiators. You get things started. You're quick, you're ambitious, all that stuff, enthusiastic, clever, and more importantly, you want to win. And so, you need to show people that. You need to show people that, hey, we can be on top of the world right now. If we get this done, we're going to be in a pretty darn good position. And that's where you want to be, on top of things.
When I look at that last card, though, I say to myself, so it was the Cardinals all along. It's sort of like saying, stay true to yourself despite the fact that the feedback you're getting is less than stellar, because really, at the end of that, your superpower will probably be to stand above the rest and to model that behavior, to maybe show people, I am on a winning team. I am able to succeed in the projects that my driven nature showed me towards. Yeah, maybe I'm not magnetically, charismatically doing the best things to bring everybody along, but I know, that there's a good thing in my heart. I can do this. Stand with me.
It's an interesting reading all the way around, because it really does seem to fit in focus on either something you are working on, with a team, maybe something in your work environment. Or it could be in personal relationships. It's hard to say, but let's take a look at this again. You are driven to a particular goal, and you have a lot of enthusiasm. You have a lot of drive and energy. Check. But on the other hand, when you're dealing with others, whether this is a partner in a relationship or your business world, whatever, you're being maybe a little bit too pushy and aggressive to cover for the fact that maybe you're not that confident about where things are going or how you're handling things.
Your optics aren't looking good.
Yeah. And so then ultimately, so because of that, the challenge that you face is trying to bring some joy and levity and heartfeltedness, if that was a word, to the situation. You want to bring some joy back instead of feeling this pressure and stress all the time.
So in this sense, it may be that this is a good time because of the holidays can kind of actually naturally buoy a lot of people's spirits.
And so ultimately, I feel how you best use these superpowers of yours is really to just move with it. Just get things off the ground, keep it moving, and stay on top of things, and, focus on that with others and tell them, once we are done, we will be in a far better position. We will be standing tall.
And the other thing I think about that too is that when you stand above, portraying yourself, you kind of model that behavior too, and that creates a little bit of feedback that maybe people will say, I want to be with that team.
Does it kind of also maybe in a way reverse that King of Wands?
It could very well.
In a way.
I sort of feel there's a connection with that. Yep.
So as the month goes on, I think, and we're spending a lot of time on the Cardinals, got to move on. But as the month goes on, I think that you will find that your confidence level will return. I think it really is paramount, though, that you bring some joy back into this situation so everybody feels happy.
So now we will be on to the fixed signs.
Hey, fixed signs.
Fixed signs are Taurus, Leo, Scorpio, and Aquarius. And
they are very, very steadfast. They're stable, they're determined, they're resolute, they're self-reliant. They forge ahead calmly, they work on objectives, they just work it through. Remembering that people help them along the way and appreciating and showing gratitude. They are purposeful, and with them, there's no wasted motions. But they do have kind of a dark side.
Oh, all of these guys are pegged as number one stubborns. My way or highway type of thinking. They do tend to get stuck in their ways, and they tend to always be self-righteous, believing they're always right.
Oh, I would never guess.
Well, on this one, if I say, but you have to trust me on that, you would say, I see. So anyways, let's see what's going on with the fixed signs for this month, November 22nd to approximately December
21st or 2nd. I forget which. Should always look that up before I come to sit down here, but I forget. So anyway, we should just say that it ends when the sun enters Capricorn. Here you go.
All right. And if you're watching this and you normally tune in to our regular programming, we are just reminding that we won't be here on Thanksgiving Eve. We're taking that day off, so no regular stream that night. But also on the Saturday after Thanksgiving, this Thanksgiving, is Small Business Saturday, and we are off to an event on the other side of the state, so there will be no happy hour this week either. We're going to Arts and Crafts, a metaphysical store, and we're reading there at their psychic fair.
So we're not just taking a long weekend. We really have a working project.
We're taking a long drive and working.
Yes. So
hours.
But we will return on Sunday for our regularly scheduled lives.
And you'll be able to catch the Oberon's Emotional Exchanges and Banshee's Material Matters at their normal times. Friday and
gosh, when are we going to fit
Sunday
those
mornings.
in? Well, you fixed signs. Okay. So the primary focus for the fixed signs, hey, it's the Four of Swords upright. So like, does that mean that the fixed signs are going to be a little under the weather?
Leave me alone. I want to stay.
Out.
I want to stay in my cave or something.
There's a lot of these flu bugs and things, this respiratory virus. It's not just COVID anymore. It's opened up to a bigger spectrum of things right now in the winter. So you might be a little bit under the weather, or you just might be tired out and, maybe life has drained you recently, has expected too much of you. Maybe you've had to undergo changes, which we know the fixed signs are fixed. So, they like things as they are a lot of times, or their way, and so they don't like that. So I think it's time to step back.
All of these signs are a little bit more on the moody side, and I could just sort of see them
yeah.
kind of rolling with the idea of the darkening time of year where that happens. I know it's not always that elsewhere in the road. So this could be that the focus is just saying some people just sort of want to chill and do Netflix or whatever that is these days. It's really more about maybe just going into a little bit of a solitary mode. So, card 2, your role with others, right?
Yeah, your interactions with others.
All right, and it is the reversed Eight of Pentacles.
This is just so weird, honestly. Upright or reversed, but it seems to me mostly reversed lately. We are seeing the Eight of Pentacles.
Yeah,
it's coming up in people's readings a lot. It's coming up in our cards of the day. It's just I don't know what's going on, people, but I will say this, fixed signs, it seems as though this kind of ties into that, because your role with, maybe it is your role with others that has been wearing you down. You're tired, you're drained. Maybe there's been too much social activity in this month that is draining you. And so you really are thinking of stepping back. It could be also impacting on your work life.
Well, it looks to me, too, there's a possibility here that maybe you are actually going to be telling people, whether they're associates of coworker sorts or other friends or stuff, that you are winding down for this month or for a time period. You may try to pass this off to card 1, the idea that you just have a need to sort of be alone. But I think you're just suggesting that you're not going to get the best from you in these interactions, and maybe you're going to actually be a little pro-forward in trying to tell people that I need some chill time. I'm not going to be as responsive. And you see that. You see a lot of people saying, I'm taking a break from social media. I'm doing this. I'm taking a break from this. This could be, that influence on the mood, the fixed signs.
Absolutely.
Okay, so our third card.
Well, go ahead. Yeah, I'll cover it later.
Okay. It's the upright Prince of Wands.
Okay, so that is the knight, because we have a princess, right?
Yes, I believe that's correct. Okay. Sorry, I forgot about that.
So the Knight of Wands, that's really interesting after all of this, but it's the opportunity or challenge you face, and I guess considering what I see here, I can look at it both ways. The challenge is to get things moving. The challenge is, how do you keep moving in a progressive direction, a positive direction, when you are stepping back, or it's affecting, the fact that you aren't, up to snuff. It's affecting the way you work.
Well, I'm wondering if maybe the fixed signs are sort of feeling drawn into themselves because they realize that someone is bringing a challenge to them that will evoke more magnanimous behavior for them, or getting involved in holiday things that maybe somebody feels they want to draw you out. And so rather than you go into your seasonal affective depressions, something, whether it's life or circumstance, is giving you this challenge of trying to draw you out and be more forthcoming here. And hopefully you will be able to be drawn to that flame.
And finally, how can you use your modality superpower?
Ooh,
hey!
2 of Cups.
10 of Cups. Oh, 2 of Cups. Oh.
Take it back.
I take it back. Hey.
2 of Cups. So I think what the modality superpower is saying here, that really, in a very reasonable way, you should consider forming some specific partnerships or bonds with those you trust and harmonize with. This may mean that you winnow down the pool a little bit, but you do it in a way that addresses the needs of the previous card, your challenge to be out there in the world shining a light to some degree.
Well, this is let me tackle that card, the 2 of Cups. So ultimately, the best way you can use your superpower is to really firm up your relationships, to work on relationship things. Maybe during this time period where you're stepping back a little bit from other activities, you are firming up relationships with others. And maybe that's what really needs to be worked on here, now that I think about it. But it looks really, really positive at the end. So I guess, fixed signs, what I would say with your superpowers is to really just be, find a way to forge ahead with your relationships. Maybe this is a time to take things a step forward. I don't know. I want to go back to this in detail because this is a really interesting reading.
It is too, just like the first one.
Do you know why?
I'll let you tell me.
Because we have all 4 suits represented: Wands, Cups, Swords, and Pentacles. They're all here. Everything is in balance.
Just like the modality itself.
Just like the modality itself, except for that 8 of Pentacles reversed. So for some reason, I do think that's the key here. And that's how I'm going to approach it as we go back and look at things here for you fixed signs. So the primary focus is, of course, what is it again? Shoot. The 4 of Swords, right. The 4 of Swords, getting that rest, taking that step back. You're feeling depleted. Something is not right. And if you are not well, or as Mr. O said, if the season is taking a lot out of you, it's time to step back and just, be.
Right. It's really, the focus here is saying forces around you want you to take a rest.
And so the challenge here, how this affects your interaction with others, is that things aren't working out really well. So I'm wondering, as I've said, and it might be also the blues, as Mr. O said, that this doesn't involve, others in some way, whether it's people you work with and you're not getting along with, or whether or you're not working well with, let's put it that way, or if something is wrong in your social life or your relationships that needs more work.
Even though there is no I in the word team, you're definitely kind of way off on the deep end of that. You can't see yourself as part of any team, whether it's friends, co-workers, or other kinds of associates.
And so, the opportunities or challenges revolve around the Knight of Wands. How do you move this forward? How do you get yourself moving again? How do you get on the right track with others, and pulling it together.
Right, and additionally, the Knight of Wands in this role here serves as sort of the spirit of the Sagittarian energy itself.
Yeah.
And Sagittarians are notable for wanting to travel, wanting to explore. So this is really saying, I think, you have to kind of get with that.
You have to get with that. And I feel here, and also, the Knight of Wands wants you to get moving. I mean, they're not as fast as maybe the Knight of Swords, but they got a lot of energy and drive. So how to get that back? That's the challenge, too, moving forward. And ultimately, it just seems as though your best way to use your superpower this month is to really maybe, gosh, it's about people. It's funny to me because this is where I'm having the hang up. The challenge is working with people, but yet that is so kind of trying to come back together again with others, I guess, is what I would say.
Well, whether it's falling in love, falling in like, or falling into the team of your coworkers or whatever, there's always going to be a sense of how vulnerable you're willing to make yourself be to intermix with that other person who should likewise be offering their vulnerableness. It's especially true in love or emotional relationships, but it can be true in all relationships. Sometimes you have to give a little to get a little.
Well, and the other thing is, you're always conscious because you are very self-reliant, but you're always conscious of when others really help you, and you remember that, and you keep that in mind. So I think ultimately your superpower will bring you back to the table with the people who are your support, the people you work with, the people you live with or have a love relationship with, because they are your partners. That's what we have for you. Good luck with that.
Go fix signs.
Hey, we finally made it to the mutables.
The feeling is mutable.
Mutables are Gemini, Virgo, Sagittarius, and Pisces.
All right.
They're the kind of people that not that I can't relate to you, fixed Scorpio, etc., but they're kind of the people I can relate to. They are very, very go with the flow kind of individuals. They're adaptable, they're flexible, they're highly resourceful. They really have a lot of going up here. They can change when necessary. It's not a problem for them. They can be kind of chameleon-like in a way, and people like them. People generally like them. They play fair, they're learners, they're diplomatic, and they can see things that others cannot sometimes. And I think they're quick to help others as well.
On the downside, they do try too hard sometimes to please everyone. Some of these signs more so than others, I imagine. So that makes them look wishy-washy or inconsistent or maybe deceptive and duplicitous. And sometimes they don't keep a sense of their emotional limit duration in hand, and then they may stretch themselves too thin.
So your primary... I got to shuffle yet, don't I?
You did. No, you didn't.
I didn't.
I thought you did.
No, you shuffle first in the beginning. I shuffle first.
Well, hurry up then.
In the middle.
Time's a waste.
Yes. It truly is.
What are you doing there with your back to me? Are you rearranging those cards?
This doesn't have a good optic.
Well then, I'll just get rid of the optic.
Wow, thank you. I like that better.
I'll cut this out later.
Till I come back and cut them anyway. All right. I am done, Mr. O. And turn it back. Let's cut them.
And roll.
Go.
Cut and roll.
Hey, your primary focus, mutables for the month ahead is, there's a good amount of wands in these readings too. It's now the Page of Wands, the Princess of Wands has joined us, but she is...
A little more over.
Oh, sorry. Reversed. So the Page of Wands is reversed. You know, the primary focus this month might be on some bad news that you have received. Some difficult news, maybe about a project, maybe about a relationship that's not working out. We'll see how the other cards are looking, but I feel like there's some difficult news that you're trying to digest. It might be delays in plans or disappointments in plans that have fallen through.
Well, you know, this card almost screams to me in a way, because, you know, mutables, we were talking a few moments ago about some of your downsides, and the reverse Page of Wands maybe says there's a little bit of mopiness here, like you're not popular, you're not getting messages, or you're not being invited to holiday gatherings, or you're feeling a little bit like someone's not seeing you, or you're not getting the feedback, the messages from people you think you should be. So that's the focus right now, is maybe you're wondering if, you know, you fell off of everybody's radar chart in a way.
So how about your interactions with others in this month, how they will affect you?
And almost helpful here is that Six of Swords.
Six of Swords, you want to go for it?
Well, it may be that you present the idea that you need to move away from these relationships that maybe are not necessarily as fulfilling to you because nobody's keeping up with you. So you may feel a little bit like you are striving to do it alone in a way. It's not like being alone. It's sort of like saying, I want to forge a new territory where something maybe feels better for me.
Well, whether it's relationships or whether it's plans or projects or goals, it seems like because maybe this bad news that you have received here is making you want to move on to something that will be maybe more comfortable for you, more easy to accomplish. Or, you know, like if it is people like Mr. O said, maybe it's time to move on from people who just don't have your best interests at heart, or, you know, that just you've tried to work with these people, or you've tried to live with this person if it's a relationship, and it just wasn't working out.
So it almost sounds like it's a specific situation going on, whether it's work relationship or neighborhood or love relationship, a friend that maybe you just may be moving on from, or have had some major disagreements.
So, what about the challenges or opportunities you might face? Oh, wow. We're getting a lot. It's going into winter here in our country. And so I almost feel this fits. Here we have the Hermit. The Hermit is here. You know, we have the Four of Swords in the previous reading. Seems like a lot of kind of sort of hibernating is going on.
Well, the challenge may be looking inside yourself for the answers to what is troubling you. I mean, if you feel like, you know, your interactions with others are driving you away from them or driving you towards something else, maybe you want to take a moment to examine what's going on. Maybe that's the challenge, is getting within yourself and looking at the philosophies or ideas about what's going on and seeing if there is something to that, or if you're just being a little bit moody because of the holiday season, not feeling like people are drawn to you in the way you want to be. You know, there is that moodiness about some of the mutables.
Yeah, you know, I think you like people and people like you generally. But the thing is here, this is kind of a drawing within kind of card. And I can't help but wonder here if, you know, this is both a challenge and an opportunity. I mean, the challenge is to really to find the time to pull yourself back and take a look at, to tap into inner wisdom as to how to move forward from the situation and make that move that you want to make. Maybe this is tied into this somehow. And I feel here that, you know, the challenge or opportunity is tap in and listen to what your inner voice is trying to tell you, instead of mutables, you trying to please others and do what they want you to do.
So along with that goes the idea that maybe this is moving you towards your modality superpower.
Maybe.
So that's card 4.
How best to use it. Oh, no.
And it's almost the opposite of card 2 in a way. It's the 8 of Cups reversed. And so that throws a spin there, doesn't it?
It does. It makes me, well, I will tweak slightly what I said, but I think I can see.
Well, it is your superpower, I guess.
Well, this is your superpower, you know. So I guess there's the deal. Here's the situation. It's the Eight of Cups, and the Eight of Cups is reversed. And like he said, it does kind of fly in the face of that card because it indicates you coming back or moving back to an earlier situation. And either maybe there's been something left unsaid, maybe there's been something left undone. Some loose ends have to be tidied up perhaps before you can really move on. And so you know how you are, mutables, and this is how you use your superpower. You are change agents. So therefore, you want to move forward? Fine. If you have to go backwards first and finish some things, fine. You can do that. You are flexible enough to do that.
This was so well said by you, and the idea of how the Eight of Cups connected to the Six of Swords, but also to the first card that kind of set the tone. And I think that this may be more about one specific situation, although it might not be the same for everybody, relationships versus boss relationship, something else, for the mutables this month. And I think it really says that in the final end, your superpower is to embrace the sense of regret or disappointments you may feel, but use them as the means for dialogue with either the parties necessary or with yourself in a way too, to at least resolve for yourself, you know, what the situations were and maybe move on the next month, the true holiday spirit.
I was just going to say, Mr. O, before we recap it, is...
I know, I'm almost recapping it.
You are. In a way here, how those two cards epitomize an ending of a year. You know, this will be, you know, this message will be over in mid-December, heading towards the last half of the year, the final month of the year. And so things are coming, maybe we do think about our past and what we've left undone. And then we are also thinking about how we want to move forward, you know, that we need to move on.
It's nice.
And so it's nice. I know it's got a interesting synchronicity going here. Let's recap it if we can. All right. You are spurred by some disappointment. Let's just say it that way. You are spurred by some kind of disappointment in your life. A message that you've received, maybe something you were hoping for has not come through for you, mutables. And it's kind of thrown you off your game.
I suggested that maybe this is a time where you needed more connection, and maybe the connection is lacking.
Right. There may have been a breakup, a relationship problem as well that's fueling this. And so with your relations with others, you're really thinking in terms of it's time to move on from certain situations, either that you have outgrown, they no longer serve their purpose, there's no joy or happiness there, or actually they may have been a little toxic for you.
Exactly.
So it's time to do the move. But you know, it's going to require wisdom on your part to really sort out what's going on here. And for you to not listen to the whims of others, but listen to that inner wisdom, you know, tap into a higher consciousness, your guides, the people surrounding you that you trust within.
It's no surprise that one of the representations of a modality here, Virgo, showed up here, because you will really kind of need the strong Virgo resolve to see this as a challenge that you must accept.
And and the best way to use your superpower is to remain flexible like you are. You know, be willing to change up as you have to. If there are some things that you have to revisit from your past and tidy up, you know, for example, I'm just going to throw this out there. It's not necessarily it, but let's say you're undergoing a divorce or a separation, you know. Are there things you left behind? Are there things you've left unsaid? Do you want to maybe mend the fence a little more and make sure there's no total hard feelings before you move on? Whatever the case may be, something is left undone and needs to be revisited from your past. Be flexible enough to do it.
I think it's a sign that maybe you're ready to bring the ideas of where you feel disrespected or where you feel unacknowledged, where your regrets are, to dialogue in a rational and emotionally, warm way. It's not about taking no prisoners. It's really is sort of about addressing everybody's emotional needs now.
And that's what we have for you, the mutable signs.
So wow. We're almost into 40 minutes, but that's how the mutables go. I think the last mutable was 40 minutes, so we're not going to say a whole lot here. We really are happy if you watch this and you got something out of it. Please like, share, etc. If you haven't subscribed, it would be wonderful if you subscribe. Also follow all of our other social media. We are on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, basically TFT, Tarot for Today.
And once again, happy birthday to our Sagittarian friends out there. Enjoy your birthday month. Happy Thanksgiving or Remembrance Day, however you celebrate this. Take care, everybody. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye.